Those baby boomers have screwed us over. Everything that is wrong with America comes from the baby boomers. You know what I'm talking about? These freaking hippie dippies right here dancing and doing degenerate mind-altering substances and whatever freaking crap they want to do. It's all the baby... Everything wrong with society is the baby boomers' fault, right? Well, me not being a baby boomer, I'm actually a millennial. Millennial, oh my god. I actually have to defend the baby boomers a little bit because I hear all this massive propaganda about how the baby boomers are just screwing us over. All the problems in the United States are the baby boomers' fault. Who are the baby boomers? Well, these include my parents. Okay, I'm 34 and they're in their 60s. Baby boomers were born between 1946, this is right after World War II, and 1964, the start of the Vietnam War, basically. This generation has been blamed for every ill in society. But the question is it really the baby boomers' fault? Is this article from Vox My Sweaty Socks, How the Baby Boomers, Not Millennials, Screwed America? Is this legit, or is this totally wrong and misguided? Well, let me give you my honest opinion here. So one of the biggest gripes that I hear is that Americans or young Americans are not going to see Social Security. All these baby boomers, they're getting their Social Security checks, and, they're basically collecting payroll taxes from working Americans, millennials, and a lot of baby boomers still, too. And they're going to get all the money, and when millennials and Gen Z are older, they're not going to get anything at all. Well, when was the Social Security Act established? Did the baby boomers pass this act? No, it was actually passed by President Roosevelt on August 14th, 1935. Remember the Great Depression? The United States had a massive economic crisis, and there was mass unemployment, and the world, fell apart. Basically, World War II, a big reason World War II happened was because of the Great Depression, because societies imploded around the world. People got angry, and they decided to fight each other. When Roosevelt came into power, he was kind of a big government boy. He liked to create social programs that were liberal and amazing. And one of his bright ideas that was passed was Social Security, the social insurance program. In 1935, were the baby boomers in existence in 1935? No, the baby boomers, the first baby boomers were born in 1946, okay? This is like 2 decades, or a decade before they were even freaking born. But, I guess Social Security is the baby boomers' fault. And there's actually fixes to Social Security, probably higher taxes and means testing, which they'll fix it eventually. But it's not the baby boomers' fault that we have this garbage government program that is actually a Ponzi scheme. I 100% agree with that. It is not the baby boomers' fault, despite what all the clowns at Vox and what other stupid liberal rags will tell you. It wasn't the baby boomers' fault that this massive program came into effect. The government exploded massively in the 1930s to fight the Great Depression. Some economists say it, fixed a lot of things. Some economists don't think it fixed a lot of things. But this is the facts as they stand. Now, the next thing is, we talk about Medicare and Medicaid and all the, student loans and all this crap, okay? Well, Medicare and Medicaid came around in the 1960s with Lyndon Johnson's Great Society. That's right, in the 1960s, there was a huge increase in government attention to poverty, race relations, and a result of that was the creation of these massive government programs called Medicare and Medicaid. We hear all the time that these programs are going to be bankrupt and that the baby boomers are going to reap all the benefits and the millennials and the Gen Z aren't going to get anything. Well, that may be true, that may be not, but the massive expansion of government that resulted from these programs happened in 1965, okay, the 1960s. How old were the baby boomers? Well, the oldest baby boomer, let's just say 1965, right? 1965 minus 1946, not 1496. The oldest baby boomer was 19 years old. I remember my parents remember the Vietnam War vaguely on the TV. They were like children when the Vietnam War started. Okay, they were young. They weren't passing laws. Some baby boomers, bro. 100% bro. The next thing, 401ks and pensions. So I hear all the time that, baby boomers are getting pensions And, they were all stripped away, and now we're left with these nasty 401k plans. Well, when did the whole process of 401k start to become popular? Well, I see some dates here. I see 1978, the Revenue Act established the foundation of 401k plans. Okay. And then 1981, the IRS issued new rules that allowed employees to contribute to their 401ks through payroll deductions. So the 401k started to gain traction, starting in the 1980s. Well, how old was the oldest baby boomer in 1981? 1981 minus 1946. The oldest baby boomer was 35. Do you think there are a bunch of 35-year-old baby boomers? These are the oldest ones. Do you think they were in charge in 1981? No, they were not in charge of the government, at least, okay? They were way too young to be in charge of the government. The creation of the 401k and the reduction of pensions, there's probably a lot of reasons that caused it, started before the baby boomers were in power, okay? And finally, we have the most amazing chart of all, wage stagnation, okay? Apparently, the top 1% are making all the money, and the bottom 90% aren't making jack. Well, what do we notice here, ladies and gentlemen? It looks like it started in the 1980s. What? When the oldest baby boomer was 35. And we can see right here, workers' hourly compensation versus productivity. That's mentioned all the time. It looks like that divergence started to happen in 1973. So we go 1973 minus 1946. The oldest baby boomer was 27 years old, okay? Now, obviously, people don't like boomers because they probably have nasty boomer bosses. And I've had nasty boomer bosses. I get it. Okay. But to blame all of society's ills on the baby boomers, I think it's just garbage. I think baby boomers, because they were like a huge generation, they're just an easy punching bag because they're the old people now. When we actually forget that the vast majority of all the problems that we're talking about today, huge government bloated programs that are Ponzi schemes, the divergence of compensation versus worker productivity, the 401k, and the basically destruction of pensions, which I think is a good thing personally, that all happened when the baby boomers were not in charge. So me as a millennial, I can rationally look at some data and come to a pretty obvious conclusion that I'm not going to sit around and blame the baby boomers for all of my problems. Okay? Are you mad? You gonna post comments? It's not true. He just showed me a bunch of facts, but it doesn't matter, bro, because it's YouTube, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Cheers!